Hello, and welcome to Strega Live. And I'm Strega. I'm going to fix this a little bit. Let's see if I can't bring you a little bit closer. There you go. And this is about the 5th time I've tried to start this video. My fur babies keep needing attention. So, okay. We are now on tarot card. Actually, it's a 6-1, but it's number 5. And it's the Hierophant. And like I said in my last video, it's the hardest one for me to get through, but not in the upright position. In the upright position, it's pretty well cut and dried. It's the reverse position that throws me for a loop. So anyway, this one is one step above the High Priestess. It represents a person, male or female, that has made it through that spiritual awakening or enlightenment and in their traditional religion. So now they have gotten ordained. They can lead a congregation, they can do sermons, they can do weddings, bar mitzvahs, they can do baptisms, whatever they need to do in their religion that they are representing. Now this is the Pope, Mother Teresa, the Reverend that probably has a soup kitchen on the corner, because they believe in the spiritual well-being of their community and their congregation. So this is a good card to have in your tarot spread. On the other hand, this one is totally opposite, of course. It is reverse. So let me tell you a story, and this one is a little bit easier for me to relay the story and you can get the meaning. Okay, now 1978, over in Georgetown, actually it was Jonestown, Guyana, there was a man by the name of Jim Jones. And he was in charge of a religious community that he called the People's Temple. Now they were from the United States. These people were from the United States. And somehow they fell into believing that he was the prophet that could take them on to a higher religious realm. And they followed him to Guyana, and I think the main reason he wanted to go to Guyana, it was to be where nobody could see what he was doing. I think he wanted to evade taxation and just be a law unto himself. He was a megalomaniac, okay? But he was very charismatic because he got people to believe in him. And these people went as far as to give him all their worldly possessions, their savings, their properties. He separated them from their families, and he led them over there to Guyana. And he set up a compound. But the relatives, I'm sorry, got tongue-tied, I'm getting old. The relatives started wanting to contact them, and they were wanting to make contact, and they couldn't. So, you know, that made a lot of family members very nervous. So they started contacting members of Congress. And there was one very brave senator. His name was Leo Ryan. And he decided to go over there and see what was really going on. And of course, Jim Jones ruled the People's Temple with an iron fist. He told them what to do. He told them that he threatened their families if they didn't do what he wanted them to. He was a dictator. So Leo Ryan gets over there, and he thinks everything's just fine because that's what everybody's been told to tell him, right? So he thinks this is the best place on earth and all this kind of stuff. But on the way back to his compound that night, he has slipped a note, or somebody in his entourage just slipped a note. And it says that they're being held there against their will. Well, he goes and he tells them, nobody can hold you against your will. If you want to come back to the States with me, you can come back. And he's got his jet that's going to be leaving the next day. Okay, well, quite a few people actually do go or want to go back with him, and they're following him back to the airport. But his plane, his jet, is ambushed and destroyed, and he is dispatched along with his entourage and all the people that were going to follow him. And you know what I mean by dispatched. Okay, back at the compound, everybody is put into this pavilion, or rounded up and put into this pavilion, and they are told, it is time to make the ultimate sacrifice, to go on to the higher world, or whatever he's calling it. Jim Jones is calling it. And he gives the congregation cups of cyanide-laced Kool-Aid. Now keep in mind, this is men, women, and children, right? And the parents are instructed to give it to their children first and then drink it themselves. And most of them do. But those that hold out are either forced to take it in, or they are injected with it, inoculated with it. And some of the ones that get up and try to run into the jungle are actually chased down and dispatched. I believe it was, I'm not sure about this, don't quote me, I think it was 918 people died that day. But of course, Jim Jones didn't die of cyanide poisoning, because that would have been too cruel for him, because cyanide poisoning sucks the air out of your system, and it's a horrible way to go. He had one of his henchmen dispatch him with a GSW to the head. Easy. You didn't feel it very much. You didn't suffer. Jim Jones was probably one of the worst cowards there ever was. Be that as it may, he wasn't going to get away with it, because one thing that the universe and the spiritual realm demands is balance. It wants balance. So he wasn't going to get away with this. I'm just so sad that so many people had to, lay down their lives because of him. Because ultimately it was his fault. What I'm saying is, I don't care how many pretty little letters a person has after their name. If they can be ordained, they can be have the counseling credentials or whatever. If you, in your mind, get the feeling that something is not right, or just doesn't feel right to you, there's something wrong there. Then I'm telling you, the spiritual realm, the higher power, will talk to your conscience. It's like that plane that you shouldn't have got on at the last minute that blows up in midair. That's the kind of thinking it is. So, do not follow a person just because they are ordained, or because they are supposed to be this benevolent person. You have to actually say, is that what I feel? Is that right? And if you have any doubts, don't do it. Get the heck out of Dodge. Leave. Because once you do it, the act is done. It's history, and it's in the universe. And there's no taking it back. So ultimately, the person that is in charge of your mind, your conscience, is you. Open your conscience and let the universe in. So anyway, I could ramble on all day on the power of self, the power of knowledge. I'm just saying, if you don't feel like something's right, then just get out of there and don't do it. Anyway, yeah, I'd make a good preacher myself, even though I don't have any inkling to do that. So, I'm going to say today, blessings from the witch. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your families. Remember that children and animals are completely dependent on their caregivers. Keep that in mind as you go through your day. And blessings from the witch. Goodbye.